Hey, Jim Cramer, are we really doing this? Really? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Jim Cramer of CNBC talking really crazy about vax mandates and his support for them. Now, before I get into the video, which I do have, I just want to say that I'm a Jim Cramer fan of his when you're talking about financial advice. If you're talking about what stocks to buy and things of that nature, okay, I'm right there with you, Jim. I got your back on that. But when it comes to this here, the vax and the vax mandates, oh, no. This, sir, is where we part ways, 1,000%. Now, before I go any further, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you're going to see and hear Jim on CNBC talking about the vax mandates and how he supports them and how he wants them to be implemented into society, not just for your job and whatnot, but for you as a regular normie at your crib, minding your own business. And after we get done with that, I'll talk about what he said. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents and my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Lord knows what happened if you didn't partake. But back then, anyone who refused to get vaccinated would get ratted out immediately because we knew that person could hurt other people. The commonweal was a commonweal. Now we're engaged in a similar struggle with COVID, and Eisenhower would be aghast. We have immunocompromised people who are incubators for every variant to come, walking around lawfully unvaccinated? That's psychotic. We have companies that have tried hard to get people vaccinated and now backing down. We have governors who want to be president by grandstanding on a foolish states' right issue, the right to get sick, get other people sick. So it's time to admit that we have to go to war against COVID. Require vaccination universally. Have the military run it. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you better be ready to prove your conscientious objector status in court. And even then, you need to help in the war effort by staying home until we finally beat this thing.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, Jim, what are you doing, sir? Like, you said a lot of things here that were just wrong. Just incorrect factually, aside from your opinion. Let's start with the opinion first. His opinion is that he wants vax mandates to be nationwide. That's his opinion. If he had his way, if his opinion could become reality, he want to have vax mandates be nationwide, regardless of what. It doesn't matter if you have an exemption. It doesn't matter if you don't work for a particular company. He wants it to be on the individual basis. Everybody get the vax, regardless of what's going on. A federal mandate for all human beings in the US of A. Now, I didn't hear in that particular spiel anything about medical conditions that may pre-exist, that may preclude someone from being able to get the vax. I didn't hear that there. I most certainly didn't hear that. I didn't hear anything about religion. I'll talk more about that, obviously, in a minute. Y'all just hang tight. I did not hear anything about religion, nothing about your medical exemption, nothing about your status as a person that's already had the vax, the virus. If you had the virus already, you have the antibodies. Why would someone who just had the virus then be forced to get the vax? You're being redundant. What they say the vax does is what we know the virus does. Give you the antibodies to fight off the virus. Why would you go get that again? Medically, if we're going to quote unquote follow the science, you're not making sense. And you're not making sense from a personal freedom point of view. Check it out. I don't want the vax. So why should I be forced to take it? That's my choice, right? My body, my choice. It's funny how all these people, they talk about my body, my choice sometimes, selectively. When it comes to an abortion, when it's not really your body, you're talking about a baby's body, then at that point, it's my body, my choice. But then when it comes to the vax, oh, nah, you got to go get it. And we're going to have the military come and enforce it. So what does that really mean? We've seen this a little bit already. Back early when the virus first popped, they were doing testing. And in Tennessee, because I live there now, and I remember when it happened, what they were going to do at first was have the National Guard in uniform go down to the so-called underprivileged areas, underserved, you know what that means, black areas mostly, in the hood, in the ghetto projects or whatever. So imagine, you're living in government housing, right? You got these military guys in uniform coming to test you. Do you have a choice in the matter? And then if you pop positive, what's going to happen? Are you going to be taken out of your housing? Are you going to be evicted? Are you going to be put in quarantine? It's scary. It's totally scary. And it's a way to have people comply. That's why he said he wants military to run it, because if they run it, then you'll be able to get a greater level of compliance. That's what that's all about. So this is really crazy and really scary, quite frankly. And before I get to Jim Cramer and his ethnicity, which is an obvious elephant in the room, I'm gonna get there, y'all hang tight. Before I get to that point, let's talk about the things he said that were just wrong in this. Aside from his opinion about wanting this to be a national thing, just mandated by the federales, aside from that, you're talking about if we get everybody to get the vax, then the virus will go away. Newsflash, newsflash, sir. I don't know if you have been paying attention at all. If you took Biology 101 in 10th grade or wherever it was when you took it, viruses don't go away. Viruses don't go away. Is there a cure for the common cold? No. Is there a cure for the flu? No. These viruses always are here. You gotta get a quote unquote flu shot every single year. Does that mean that the flu is gone? Obviously not. If you got to get a shot every year, no, it's not. And for the common cold, I mean, that's an inconvenience. People get really sick on the common cold. That may even cause other things to happen. It may kind of compromise your immune system, but yet and still, there's no vax for that. What they say, take some Robitussin, take some cough drops, and that's pretty much it. Ain't no cure for the common cold. Ain't no cure for the flu. Ain't no cure for the house in Virginia. Okay, and a cure for what Magic allegedly had. Allegedly. There's no cure for that either. So, I mean, what are we doing? Ain't gonna be no cure. You can't just say everybody get vaxxed and then there's gonna be a cure or it'll go away. Because even in vaxxed individuals, they get the virus just the same as those who are unvaxxed. LeBron James just got it. People that have been double, triple, quadruple vaxxed still get the virus. The virus does not have any, only thing the vax does is allegedly prevent you from having severe symptoms, allegedly. R.I.P. Colin Powell, who died of the virus and he was vaxxed. Oh, he was old, ABL. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because most people that die from this are old. So we can't use that he was old excuse when it comes to Colin Powell, but then at the same time say everybody get vaxxed to save lives. If we know just on the data level that everyone, mostly the majority, 80% or more of those who die from this virus are elderly, we can't at the same time say that someone who died of a case that was so-called breakthrough, fully vaxxed, they died because they were old, not the virus. You cannot have two at the same time. It's got to be one or the other. It's very simple. So what he said there about this whole thing going away if everybody gets the vax is just false. And finally, Jim Cramer is clearly Jewish, obviously. So, I mean, have we not heard about World War II Germany? Have we not heard about how they said the Jews were disease spreaders and we had to put them away in certain little camps and whatnot? And if they ain't want to comply and if they ain't want to do this, put a yellow star on. We've already been right here. Now, I'm not sure if they're German Jews or wherever they come from, but I mean, they probably are somewhere in Europe, obviously. So do you not know your own history, sir? Do you have a relative with the Holocaust, the tattoo, the number on their arm? Do you not have that, Jim Cramer? So how are you going to come on here and say as a Jewish person that they should force people to get this vax by way of the military, the same way they forced your ancestors into them camps by way of the military? Oh, it's for the good of the people because they're spreading disease. They are interfering with the economy. It's the same exact thing. These people don't learn. This is why history is so very important. As I close, history is very important because if you do not learn history, you shall be doomed to repeat it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what Jim Cramer said about the vax and mandates and whatnot? Are you going to accept that? Would you want to have the federales come to your door talking about, hey, are you vaxxed? Yay or nay? Show me your papers, please. Again, harkening back to World War II Germany. Are you going to accept that? Is that a thing that you want to have happen? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. Y'all know where I stand. There's no question where ABL stands. I say this is ridiculous. It's crazy. And he should not be allowed to get on TV and say that. But again, it is CNBC, MS-13, DNC, NBC, all the same thing. It's all the same. All these alphabet letter organizations, it's all the same. They want to push that fear. They want to have this universal mail-in ballot, universal vax. They want to have everything up under the federal government so they can control you. When you have less freedom, fewer rights, that's all they want. And the ultimate end game here is all about money, okay? I'm not really sure how much stock this big stock guy and Jim Cramer has in Pfizer, but Pfizer is most certainly on the stock exchange. So if you're able to push vax, that makes your money get bigger. Are you sponsored by, just like Susie Orman talking about everybody buy a house. Meanwhile, she's sponsored by Fannie and Freddie. It's all about getting money at the end of the day. It's about money and control, not about you as a person and your best interests. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.